Right, we're on today at Kingsfield Performance Centre in Scotland, and we're going to bring 3 tips to you today. Myself and Callum Beveridge, another Scottish PGA pro who's out there hitting balls just now, we're going to give you our best tips to stop you slicing the golf ball. Here we are, the weather's pretty cool. Callum, how are we?
Steve, how you doing?
I'm good, thanks. I'm good. We're going to talk about slicing the golf ball today, or how to stop slicing the golf ball. Sounds like a plan.
People need that help.
I think so. I've just spoken to the people and explained that you're going to talk about your top 3 tips. I'm going to talk about my top 3 tips. So there might be 6 individual tips on how to stop slicing the golf ball.
Sounds good.
Can't go wrong, eh?
Can't go wrong.
Perfect. Okay, so if we're doing this is my 3rd most effective anti-slice tip. Down to the first.
Down to the first.
And we'll try and keep that the same all the way so the viewers can understand, okay, it's going to get better and better as we go. That's the answer. Okay, so my first tip, Callum, is obviously a slice is an out to in path or a face that's open to a path. So generally we see, and I generally see when I'm coaching that most is out to in. You'll probably be the same, I imagine.
Absolutely.
Out to in path, this casting over the top. So fixing path massive and then working on face after, I think is what's certainly the way I do it. I take my cane, this is my number 3 tip, cane parallel to my target line there, and then turn it at an angle. I'm not too fussed what angle, but as long as it's cutting across my target line. So if my target line's along here, let's just pop that down for reference. So there's my target line. My red cane is cutting across that target line.
Perfect.
Keeping it as simple as possible.
Any other wee references or anything, or would you say that's a time on the clock or not too fussed?
What time would you say that is?
Yeah.
Half
past 4 o'clock?
Yeah, 4:30, round about there, yep, absolutely.
I like that, that's good.
I just really focus, as long as it crosses my target line, it gives the player a visual. So, address position up to the top. When we start at the top and downswing, we come over the top this way, and therefore we're cutting across, and we're nowhere close to that 430.
No.
So I try and encourage people to get from the top of their swing, move the body towards target, hips open up, and pump down there to that 430 alignment cane and get that shaft to match up. And my thinking there, Callum, which you can tell me if I'm wrong, and I'm pretty cool with this, I feel there, when they're matched up with that cane, that the club head's behind the hands.
Yep.
And then from there, it's really, because the body's moving, it's much easier to throw the club out towards the golf ball. Let's centripetal force, take that club out towards the golf ball, so therefore the path becomes more in to out than it does out to in.
Absolutely. Yep.
Does that sound about right?
Yeah, couldn't agree more.
Well, I'll try and hit one.
Let's see it.
Wish me luck. So there to there, club head behind hands. There to there, club head behind hands, 2 canes match up. Then I just let the club go.
Lovely.
And it was decent.
That was good.
It was alright.
That was really good. I would take that all day long.
That's my number 3. What's your number 3?
So I'm just going to add to that actually. I would say from that position, obviously what you're talking about, club head behind the hands, I think that's fantastic because a lot of golfers are getting that club head way in front. So I completely agree with what you're talking about. So just to add to that, from there, that centrifugal force takes over. But what I would really like you to think about is that forearm. We've obviously got this seam line here.
Yep.
We want to go from the top of the forearm and twist that to the left. That's going to be the action point. You'll feel it in your hands, but that's going to be the action point. We need that forearm to rotate in order to close that face.
So that's controlling face.
Yeah. So we've got us we've got the path from the inside.
Awesome.
That's going to allow the face to close over, and then just to add to that, that's going to get the face and the path matching up. It's going to get a bit closer. And then from there,
if you go to your impact position then.
Yep, so we're going to go here, club head behind the hands. The camera, you guys will be able to see the top of my forearm.
Yep.
And then as we're approaching impact, you're going to see more of the bottom of my forearm. We're going to have a lot more rotation
And
here.
I'm just looking at that. If you go back to that position there, that's it. There, keep coming down.
Down. That seam line twists.
Stop there. The back of your hand points a little bit more to the ground, would that be right?
Yeah, definitely more of a sort of knuckles down release.
You're Ben Hogan.
Could be a younger version.
Brilliant. So we've got path and face.
Path and face, so
go for it.
Match the cane, twist the forearm.
Fantastic. Yeah, lovely. We right to left ball flight, there's no way that's slicing.
There's no way that's slicing.
Very good. Like it. Love it. So my number 2, Callum, is I've discussed about how we can get the club behind the hands and then we can let centripetal force take care of that. if I rewind that slightly from the top of the swing, it's that first action, the top of the swing, going there. And it's only for 6 inches or so.
Yep.
Because you've started it and you've moved this out 6 inches, and then of course now everything's going towards the golf ball. We then have to come across, stand up, all sorts of things happen. Levers are all thrown all over the place. If the people can get the first 6 inches of the downswing right, I think they've got a much better chance of swinging in to out or less out to in.
Absolutely.
So again, this is very important. But just before that, which probably should have been number 3, but I'm doing it in order of what's the most effective. So this is my second most effective anti-slice. Up the top, when I get to the top with a good shoulder turn, body rotation up the top, I'm stacked there, ready to go. My back's facing the target. Chest to camera.
Yep.
So
let's just see that one again, Steve. So you've got the back facing the target at the top of the backswing.
yeah. So I take my club, my swing up the top, so there.
Yep.
So my back faces towards target or chest behind the golf ball. And then from there, I start my downswing and I try and maintain that position, try and keep my back towards target just for the first 6 inches. So there, as I move towards target, my mass will move towards target, but this line here will stay the same for the first 6 inches, and the hands will then come down more towards the trail pocket.
Superb. And that allows the hands to stay back.
Absolutely. So I am there, and then from there I'm moving towards target, and my hands come down towards my trail pocket for 6 inches. That's all I'm doing. And then from there, my body will open up, and look, we've matched up at 430, and let the club release out there.
Brilliant.
There. So I'm there, keeping back towards target. One thing that can go wrong there though, I always tell people when they do that, when they bring the hands down or keep the back towards target and the hand come down, don't allow the left wrist, the lead wrist to cup. That can be a problem because that can open the face. So then we've got an in to out path, which is great, but our face is open. So I always tell people to be aware of that.
Yep.
What do you think?
I love it. I love it. Definitely. I would say I completely agree. Lots and lots of lessons. Common thing that you would see is a really early spin out of the body. So I love just that back to target. Stop that spin out. Stop that chest opening too soon.
Magic.
Lovely path.
What's your number 2?
So number 2, I'm going to add to that again. So
Cool.
Back to the face being open and the left wrist being cupped. A really good one that you can do at home. Just if you get any sort of card that you have, just grab your wallet. And what we're going to do is we're going to stick this underneath Steve's Loft LIE glove.
Oh, doesn't get any better than that.
Look at that. So we're going to pop that down there, and essentially if we were going to cup the wrist too much, which opens the face, and you slicers need to make sure that you don't have a really open face, we want to try and keep this nice and flat, and we don't want the card to bend as we're swinging down. Okay, that's going to cup it, that's going to open the face. We don't want that. So exactly what Steve was talking about a minute ago, we're going to take it up to the top, back to target, but at the same time we're going to have that card nice and flat. We don't want that to bend too much. What we can see, a lot of the face, a lot of loft there, a lot of shots out to the right that we don't want to see. So we can take it up to the top, little rep, keep that nice and flat, keep that Loft LIE badge facing this way. Nice and flat, couple of repetitions of that. Fire your card down. Same feeling. You can start to get that face closing and start to see a little bit of right to left on your shot.
Awesome, very good. So we've covered the first 6 inches of the downswing there, and again, so that's path, and then again, of course, your left wrist and card there has controlled the face.
Absolutely.
So it's
that's the two things.
And path relationship that we're working on these 6 tips to reduce that slice. So Callum, we have covered path and face twice.
Perfect.
So I'm now, and I explain that to my golfers that this is the relationship between path and face is very, very important. That has to be done, but then it has to become dynamic. So body moving and less positions and feeling how to get there, it all has to work as one.
Yeah.
So I then move from there, and I take the golf ball and I set up 2 canes. I generally have these straight in a little bit further away from where I'm standing just now, but for the purpose of this is we're doing the best we can. And I start off and I ensure that on takeaway the club comes behind or inside the red cane. So it's coming inside here, which is giving me a little bit more rotation, which is great. So I'm starting to use this space here instead of going out that space and down that space. I'm coming down this space here, and then when I come back down, the body's moving, my back's to target. As we talked about before, I'm matching up with the 430 cane on the ground, and then from there, as you mentioned, the forearm rotates, and the back of the left hand's a little bit more towards the ground, and I go outside the white cane. So I bring inside red and outside white. But when I do that, I start them off in a post-impact position to get that flow, that freedom, that release, if you like. So I start them here, without hitting the golf ball, start here, back in there, and out. There, back in there, and out. And they can see the club head blur, they can visually see that's where it's going. And then of course these canes will be further apart. We'll get a ball out and we'll hit a ball there. So they start above the ball, there, ball's teed up, there, in, out, feeling the whole action working.
Yeah, love
Move
that.
path, and of course everything you've talked about before starts to come into play because it's more dynamic.
Yeah, that's fantastic.
That's my number
and it's
one.
a nice, I think that's a nice easy transfer that you can take out onto the course. You've just got that visual of that change of swing direction rather than swinging hugely across it.
You can take
Nice and
your canes
simple.
on the course. There's nothing like in a bounce game when you're playing with your pals or even on your own, and you can pick your target line. Just put a cane behind, just one behind it initially, and it's in the ground. So then you're playing your shot, and I'm making sure I come inside that cane, so that's giving me a little bit more body turn.
Yeah, I like that.
That's my number one. What's your number one?
Let's see you hit one first. Let's see.
Well,
Yeah.
I'm a bit weird, but the canes are too
oh,
close now. You've tested me here. The canes are too close because, as I said, they would normally be stuck in the grass further away, but I'll go for it.
Give it a go.
So I would start there to feel.
It's a big exaggeration.
To feel. Then I would step on, encouraging that to happen.
Oh,
And I would hit my cane because it was too close. But I caught the top of it, so it was alright. So I was into out path.
That was definitely an into-out path, and you hit a lovely wee draw there as well.
But there's something to be learnt there. Make sure your canes are far enough apart.
Absolutely.
But they won't go into concrete.
I think you should keep that in, that's good.
Absolutely. So your number one is?
So my number one, I'm going to again add to that. I think that's absolutely superb. So obviously with that, the cane's behind, and what the idea of that is to try and get more depth.
So you would keep that cane in there?
Yeah, I quite like that cane in
So
there
this
actually.
cane would be right here somewhere. But again, for the purpose of this, we're popping it there.
Yeah, and I think exactly what Steve said, there's a lot of golfers out there that once they get up to the top of the backswing, a lot of slicers don't have enough hand depth, just meaning that the hands aren't far enough behind us.
Yeah.
And in order to do that, obviously we've got the stick there, but a lot of golfers that slice the ball don't have enough shoulder turn. So if we can try and encourage that extra shoulder turn, there's three ways our body can move in the backswing. We can extend up, we can side bend, and we can turn. And a lot of golfers who slice the ball don't have enough of that part. And really the feeling is trying to get that left shoulder across
Absolutely.
towards the right foot and really just encourage that shoulder turn. So if we can try and feel that we get the backswing.
When you do that, so when you turn that inside that cane and get that, are your feet position change or?
Yeah, I think definitely depending on the golfer, I think what you can do, and it's a really common thing that I would see, particularly with your older golfer, not having enough foot flare.
Okay, so trail foot.
So trail foot could definitely start to flare out a little bit more.
Away from target a little bit more. Yep.
And then another thing that we want to see is when we've set ourselves up, if we drew a line from the middle of our foot up to our pelvis, the middle of that little knobbly bit, we don't want this right knee facing inwards. Because again, the combination of the foot being in and the knee being in, it's really going to make hip turn difficult, which does have an impact on how much we can turn our shoulders.
Absolutely.
If we stand this way, there's definitely going to be some sort of restriction going on, which again, back to Steve's drill, you're going to hit that stick if you don't get enough turn. So we're going to set up a fraction of foot flare, similar to how you would stand. Right knee is not facing inwards.
Yeah.
And then from there, big shoulder turn in the backswing, get those hands nice and deep. And also back to what Steve was talking about, when we do that, the back's going to face the target, which helps with tips 1 and tips 2 and tips 3.
Perfect. So guys, there we go. That is my 3 top tips for stopping slicing. Callum's 3 top tips as well. Starting off with path and face the path, and then working more on slightly more dynamic with our tip number 1, which can easily be taken on the golf course, both of them.
Absolutely.
Which is brilliant. Thanks very much for Callum Beveridge. Where can we get you? Where can we see you? Your YouTube channel?
YouTube channel is Callum Beveridge Golf, which isn't easiest to spell, but
It'll be on the screen right now.
There we go. And then all the social channels. We've got TikTok, Instagram, the whole lot.
Brilliant.
We're on all of those, but check me out on YouTube.
Excellent. I'll put all that in the description below. I will make sure all Callum's details are there. Also check out Eureka Golf Swing and Loft and Lie, and we'll see you soon. Callum, bye-bye.
Cheers, Steve.